Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here at Crypto Nation. Hey, this is another episode of Crypto Nation Reacts, and the title of this one is called "Owning Point Zero Zero One Bitcoin is actually a huge deal." So this is from Altcoin Daily. They have a pretty big crypto platform. They got over almost 1.5 million subscribers, and they keep us updated what's going on in the crypto community. And also, I just want to say thanks to everybody who a little bit earlier who came on to the live, show support and hit the like button and everything, who came into the live earlier. But yeah, let's see what they're talking about on this episode of the Altcoin Daily. This is the Crypto Nation Reacts. All right, let's see what they're talking about on this episode.
Bitcoin.
Real estate's over.
How much Satoshis does someone now need to accumulate to buy a home in like 20 years?
I think it's just a completely misunderstood asset.
You need to own this amount of Bitcoin. 0.001, worth about $65 today. Owning 0.001 Bitcoin is actually a big deal. If you can, you should get 0.01 Bitcoin, about 650. But if you can't, that's okay. Owning 0.001 Bitcoin is actually all you need. And in this video, I'll explain why. Like the video, support the content, post this video on social media. More regular people like you, like me, need to understand this. Just send this video to one person who you like and who you want to see come up with you. So, did you know BlackRock is secretly buying Bitcoin behind the scenes? You know BlackRock has a Bitcoin ETF where others can buy Bitcoin through them. Over 20 billion in Bitcoin inflows just through the BlackRock ETF alone, not to mention all of the ETFs in total seeing a new all-time high today actually, 300,000 Bitcoin sucked up into all the ETFs. You know this, but did you know BlackRock is secretly buying Bitcoin behind the scenes? I say secretly because although this information is public for those who know where to look, this is not getting reported. We report stuff like this to you all the time. We give you an edge in crypto. If you're interested in making money and doing well in crypto, make sure you subscribe to Altcoin Daily. The fact that BlackRock is buying their own Bitcoin ETF is huge. They've been doing this regularly. They steadily keep accumulating Bitcoin. They steadily keep increasing their Bitcoin. They just bought 4,000 more shares of their own Bitcoin ETF. The last disclosure, they had 12,000. Now they have 16,000, and there is no reason to think that they're stopping here. And this is just their company. We don't know how much Bitcoin they personally own. How much Bitcoin do you think Larry Fink personally owns? At least one whole Bitcoin, right? Probably a lot more. He argues for Bitcoin like he owns a lot of it.
There's a lot of merit to it. There's a lot of opportunity. It is a great store, and this is where you can debate. Is it a good store?
But you know how it's made. A bunch of computers figure out
But there's
problems.
but the issue is if people believe that it can be an asset that can be cross-border. Right. And let's be clear, if you're in a country where you're fearful of your government, and maybe this is one of the reasons why China has banned it. Mm-hmm. If you're in a government where if you're in a country where you're fearful of your future, fearful of your government, or you're frightened that your government is devaluing its currency by too much deficits.
Like us.
I'm not going to go there.
Go the little elephant in the room here.
Yeah. You could say this is a great potential long-term store of value. And as I said, it's like digital gold. And I believe...
But you still can't buy a slice of pizza with it. Isn't that kind of odd that we're...
But you can't buy a price of pizza with palladium or gold.
No, but there you can do stuff with them. I can get stuff with... I mean, people use gold for stuff, right?
But you could buy and sell your Bitcoin, no different than gold. So it is very...
What is it? But gold is put in like...
Jewelry.
And iPhones, I think there's in some electronics, there's gold.
More silver and nickel.
But you see what I'm saying? There are practical uses. Bitcoin, it's literally a ledger. Right?
It is a ledger, but it's an international ledger. It's cross-border. It's bigger than any government.
So, 0.001 Bitcoin is all you need. 0.00.
USDC is money with all the benefits of the open internet, so it moves fast, across borders, real or
0.01 Bitcoin today is $65. The simple reason why I say get this much Bitcoin is if you want to purchase a home in 20 years, fiat is losing so much purchasing power. Bitcoin is gaining purchasing power. And we're even assuming the cost of a home is worth more in the future. It's more expensive. Let's assume that in the future, one home costs $1 million. 0.001 Bitcoin gets you that home in 20 years, at least according to investing expert Peter Dunsworth speaking on the Robin Sear Daily Bitcoin podcast. And guess what? If you don't want to wait 20 years, if you want that home a lot sooner, 0.1 Bitcoin gets you that home a lot sooner. Listen to this and tell me what you think.
Real estate is already crashing really hard against Bitcoin. You can see the average US and UK home prices. And 5 years ago, it was around 30 Bitcoin, and now it's around 5-6 Bitcoin, the average home price. And it's already like from 30 to 5. It's like a massive crash already in 5 years. How much Satoshis does someone now need to accumulate to buy a home in like 20 years? When we see that trend continuing, like now you need like 500 million Satoshis, but it's already crashing down a lot from this 32 Bitcoin. What do you think is like a rough estimate to buy a home? Because I'm really interested in measuring Bitcoin not in US dollars, but measuring Bitcoin in like, oh, how much kilograms of gold can I buy? How much land can I buy? How much real estate can I buy? I think it makes way more sense to measure Bitcoin against something real and not something of fiat.
I think if we're going to assume that an average European home price is going to be €1 million, I'm not sure what it is now, but I presume it's substantially lower than that. If I can speculate that it's circa €500,000 now, I think 500,000 would be very generous across the board of the EU. I think in the next 20 years, an average European home price is going to be, roughly €1 million, and I think you're going to be able to get that for 0.001 of a Bitcoin, roughly 1 million Satoshis. I think it's just a completely misunderstood asset. I think volatility is going to continue to scare people, and I don't think there's a solution to that volatility problem. And a lot of people get scared about Bitcoin's volatility and they think it's a bug, but they don't understand the volatility is the feature. That's the ability for Bitcoin to be worth 100 million or $1 billion. On that, a revision of that, how much is a home going to cost? I wouldn't be surprised if it's 100,000 Satoshis in 20 years' time. And that seems completely insane, but relative to where everyone is right now and the need that is going to come for Bitcoin, I don't think that's outrageous to think whatsoever. But there is going to be some people who are going to go out on the risk curve who need Bitcoin, who have to take the risk because they don't have any other options. And this is where, if I look at the demographics for investing in real estate via Bitcoin, real estate's over. You've got the generation which holds all the wealth owning 80-90% of the real estate. Now, the generations who are going to inherit that wealth, the millennials, Gen Zs, what have you, they're not interested in owning huge homes and tying up a huge amount of capital to that. That's not what they're about. They're about experiences. They're about having flexibility, optionality, and having all of your assets tied up in a huge home. Making huge generalizations here isn't as appealing as having, 10, 20, 30, 50 Bitcoin at your disposal and being able to rent that lifestyle for pennies on the dollar. And I'll give you an example here. If you want to, in Australia, if you want to hold or purchase a really nice home, it's going to cost you circa $10 million in the part of the world that I am. And you're going to have a stamp duty to purchase that property, which is a government tax that they levy on you just to purchase it. They're going to charge you close to $700,000 to $800,000 just to purchase it in a one-off fee. So it's going to cost you, call it $11 million to purchase that property. You can finance maybe 50% of it. So you're going to have a $5 million loan on it. That $5 million loan is going to be at a rate of 6 or 7%. That 7% on $500,000 is going to cost you $350,000 a year. And you can't claim that as a tax deduction. And that's how much it's going to cost you to own it. It's going to cost you $5 million or $6 million in equity, plus a $5 million mortgage that's going to cost you $350,000 a year. Alternatively, you can just rent that lifestyle and you can pay 1% to 2% of the value of that property and you can rent that. So I look at the Gen Z, I look at that and think, Why would they pay, $5 million plus $350,000 a year just to own that property when they can rent that lifestyle for $200,000 a year, and they can save the $5 million, put that into Bitcoin? And
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense right there. Why would they waste that kind of money to buy something and then get taxed on it? Yeah, yep, it makes all the way sense.
they can have a return of 50% on that per annum. So they're making $2.5 million a year investing it in Bitcoin, and it's saving them $150,000 in running costs per annum on the property, yet they get the same result. I just look at this and I think the baby boomers don't understand what's coming down the road. There's no one coming to buy their big properties, or not the level that's needed to maintain those values. So what needs to happen? You either need to get really loose credit policies with really low interest rates to maintain those property values, or alternatively, you just move to an investment where the demographics and the population are in your favour. And by my calculations, there may be 1 million people on that little Bitcoin island right now, and there's going to be 8 billion people there in the next 20 years. So where do you want your money? Where the people are going to be.
So there you have it. 0.001 Bitcoin is all you need. This is a continuing story, so make sure you subscribe. We update you on a daily basis. We give you an edge in crypto. If you're interested in making money, make sure you subscribe to Altcoin Daily. Also, hopefully I see you at this Epic Side event in Singapore. Dylan Francis just announced as headliner. Hope to see you here. And for more of the story, do not buy a house. Instead, buy Bitcoin. I'm going to link this interview you should watch.
Every year, millions of noses are ghosted by the...
Alrighty, that concludes that episode. Tell me what you think. Yeah, I'm glad this is a pretty good episode. It explains how Bitcoin, it's just a hedge against inflation and everything. And Bitcoin and crypto is going to be the way to go. For the next 5 to 7 years. But yeah, let's see where Bitcoin is right now. Let me see here. Right now, Bitcoin is back up to 59,000. Even me personally, man, I remember 3 years ago when Bitcoin was only at 15K. I'm gonna tell you, I regret not buying any Bitcoin. I wish I would have did. That was when Bitcoin, the people trying to say it was over. Bitcoin ain't going nowhere. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But anyways, and it's still not too late to buy some Bitcoin. I'm still thinking about picking up a little bit of Bitcoin and just hold it for like 5 years and see. That'll be a pretty good return. And one thing I do like about Bitcoin is that you don't have to like right now Bitcoin is at 59,000. It doesn't mean you have to spend 59,000 to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, $200, $300 worth of Bitcoin. Or if you could start off just buy $50 worth of Bitcoin, you could just buy fractional shares of it. That's another thing I like about it. But anyways, guys, that concludes that episode. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button for post notifications. Anybody like to support the channel, you can get the channel membership. It's $3 a month. And you're supporting the channel. I'm going to have my updated portfolio over there. And I'm always, when I get a chance, I'll drop some content to the channel members. Hey, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.